Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hobby Lodge. It's time again for another Hit Squads update. This time going from 82 to 87. We're hurtling towards the end of the collection and I'm getting pretty darn close to completing the set. Apologise for not doing an update for the last couple of weeks. Just had some other things going on and doing videos has kind of taken a bit of a back seat. But let's jump into these five. I'll show you some footage and I'll tell you my thoughts on the games as we go through. But yeah, I'm really excited about where the collection is at the moment, and still so many more to show you before we get to the end of the set. So next up is Altered Beast. There we go. This is number 39 in the arcade collection. Altered Beast, for those who don't know, obviously is an arcade classic, and it plays, it's fine. Confession, I was never an Altered Beast fan anyway, regardless of whether that was on consoles or arcades. It's an okay platform beat 'em up, I would say. I mean, I'm not even sure I'd call it that, but it works on the Commodore 64, but I'm not super excited about it. I wasn't super excited about it when I put it on and played it, and it wasn't a game that from back in the day that I remember very fondly. I remember it being on sort of the Master System and Mega Drive probably more, but it works fine. It does play a little bit quirky in places, but you can get on with it. But yeah, Altered Beast on the Commodore 64 Hit Squad's number 39 in the arcade. It's all right. We give it an all right. Next up, we've got what I think is actually just... I can't even believe this is a game, but it is a game, and it's very niche to the UK market, I think. I'm not sure anyone in America or that had this when they were young, but it is Spitting Image on the Commodore 64. It is number 15 in the movie collection. I'm not sure if there actually was a Spitting Image movie. There might have been, but it was definitely a TV series from in the 80s, well, late 80s, I think, of these. It was puppetry of imitation of well-known world figures, doing comedy sketches and so on and so forth. And the video game, believe it or not, is a player versus player beat 'em up. It is a fighting game akin to your Street Fighters and those kind of games where you pick a character and you battle it out against each other in 3 rounds of fighting in front of some iconic landmark as these Spitting Image characters. And there's not much more I can say about that. I've played as Margaret Thatcher and Prince Charles, and there's some few others, or King Charles now, but back when this was out it would have been Prince Charles. Yeah. I'm not sure how this is a game, but it is a game, and it's in the Hit Squads, so it has to go in. Next up, we have another arcade classic, and it is going to be number 22 in the arcade, and it is Afterburner. Now, this surprisingly plays pretty well on the Commodore 64. It's got the important piece, which is speed. A lot of the time, these games where speed is part of the game, it never quite conveys quite very well on the 8-bit micros. But in this, they get that right. I feel like the game is going at a really good pace with your sort of, Tomcat. It's basically Top Gun. It's a better version than Top Gun anyway on the Commodore 64. If this was called Top Gun, we wouldn't be talking about it in such a negative way to the actual Top Gun movie that is it's in the Hit Squads. Yeah, Afterburner, you've played it in the arcades, everyone knows this game, and it works really well. Not really any quest. I really like the music in it. The combat, it's frantic. Half the time you don't know what's going on, but you're shooting your guns, you're launching your missiles, you're taking down planes, you're trying not to fly into their missiles, and off you go. And I actually quite enjoyed playing it, and I think it plays really well for an arcade conversion to the Commodore 64. So yeah, number 22 in the arcade, it is Afterburner. I'm going to be picking up more of these new cases. Look how shiny that is, it looks brand new. But yeah, that is that one. Right, next up we have a racing game, and we have number 15 in the sports collection, and it is WEC Le Mans. There we go. And again, this one works pretty well. It has that sensation speed, which is always quite hard to pull off, and this does it pretty well. It has good sound. a bit sort of, you know, it's an engine sign, so it is what it is. But the only issue I have with it is the roads are quite narrow, so as cars are coming towards you, it can be very difficult to maneuver around the road and maneuver around cars. So quite often you end up hitting and therefore crashing and sort of get started again. But actually, maybe potentially with a lot more play and practice, this wouldn't be such a tough game. But the small amount I played of it, I enjoyed it for what it was. I think as a kid I would have absolutely enjoyed playing it, and I found the sense of speed absolutely there, but there's just the tightness in the roads and the amount of room you're given to maneuver around made this not so great. But it's okay. It's a good game. Right, as always, we like to do a big hitter, and this week is well, we're doing a big hitter, and it is one of the ones I think a lot of people really struggle to get hold of, and it can go for quite a good amount of money, and that is number 30. So it's the last. No, it's not the last in the movie collection, I lie. It is number 30 in the movie collection, because the last in the movie collection, that is a big hitter, but it is number 30. It is Hook on the Commodore 64 Hit Squads, and it is an action platformer. For those who haven't played it, I actually remember this more from the Super Nintendo. That's when I played this game the most. So this is obviously an 8-bit version of that game, and it's not exactly the same. It's definitely different. The levels immediately are different and all the rest of it, but very similar in how it plays. You play Peter Pan. You're making your way through the level, collecting bits and pieces, fighting pirates and creatures, trying to get around, and it plays fine. It plays exactly how you would expect it to play. The graphics look great, the music's fine. It's a really nice little platform, and that's always nice when it's one of these rarer games, or more sought after, more difficult to get. It is nice when it is also a not bad game as well, and that's what I can say about Hook, is that it is, whilst it is up there in its difficulty to obtain and obviously find and pay for, it is a good game. So yeah, really happy that I managed to get Hook in the collection, and it's ticked off another one of those big hitters, and we are getting through them, which is nice. So yeah, there we go. That is the 5 for this week. We had Altered Beast, Spitting Image, who knew, Afterburner, Arcade Classic, WC Le Mans, and of course Hook. So there we go. That takes us up to 87, which leaves still another, what's that, 25, no, 13, do a quick bit of maths, 35 to go, I think that means. We're gonna get pretty darn close before we end this kind of series, and who knows, we may even finish by the time we get there. We'll just have to keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if any of these games you've played before, or if they're ones that you're looking to get yourself, or if you've got any insight into others. As you know, I do keep a list below of all the hit squads as and when I get them, so you can see, even though these videos lag behind my actual progress, you can see how far I'm doing. And if you've got any that I don't have, give me a shout, and I will happily try and, well, if you want to do a deal, we can. But otherwise, I'm going to keep on the hunt. We'll find them as we go, and I'll see you on the next update when we'll be into the 90s. All right? Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.